All right, Gracie, we are on.
Perfect.
Welcome.
I'm excited. Thank you.
Of course. Um, Gracie, I have a little bio for you, of you,
Perfect.
of you,
Oh,
for
okay,
everybody
perfect.
listening.
Okay.
It's kind of long. Utah Tech actually does a really good job writing you a little bio. I did my homework.
You did.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what I got. Went to Maple Mountain. Graduated in 2020. You guys won the state championship your sophomore year. Okay, you were a 3-year starter at Maple Mountain. A 5A first team All-State selection. Was that your senior year?
5A. I think that might have been my sophomore year because I didn't play my senior year. Well, I may have started in one game, but I actually was hurt. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Mhm.
Love it.
The more you know. Sorry, jump in. But,
No,
yeah,
you're
that was
good.
my sophomore year.
Okay, good. Then you played at Snow College, which is where we met.
Yes.
And we actually played against each other a little bit. The football team played the soccer team.
Did you score?
Probably not. I think you might have remembered that way wrong.
Maybe,
you guys probably kicked our butts, though. I'm pretty sure you guys, just gave it to us. Anyways, at Snow College, you played 2 years at Snow College, okay?
Yes.
These are some impressive accolades I want everybody to know.
Oh.
30, you started 30 of 31 games for the 2 years that you were there, okay? You were a captain both years at Snow. Totaled 1,970 minutes over the 2 years that you were there. You were a 2-time NJCAA National Tournament All-Tournament Team Selection, a Scenic West Conference All-Tournament Team after both seasons, and First Team All-Conference Selection from Snow. Then you went to Utah Tech. Your junior year, you're Second Team All-WAC Conference, ranked second on the roster with second most minutes played. Senior year, WAC Defender of the Week, Academic All-District Team, team captain, and played every single minute of the 2023 season.
Dang, I don't think
give yourself a hand, Gracie. What a season! And now you're back in.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm still going. I'm not done, but
a super senior, some would say. No, of course. I mean, I have to. I'm grateful that you're on the podcast, that you actually want to come chat. How has it been going from Snow College to Utah Tech? Talk to me about that transition. How has it been?
Yeah, no, for sure. And like, just the level difference was probably the biggest thing. Like, obviously, like, towns, everything was different too. Like Snow College, Ephraim, small town, and then St. George. It's not like a super big university, but it is still like a big change. But as far as like the playing and the level, I think that was the biggest difference I noticed. Was just more of like the individual girls and their like skill level. Their skill level was different, a little bit higher. They're a little stronger. And also just the speed of play. Everything was quicker. Whether that's like on the field and off the field, it was like kind of go, especially when you're in season. That fall season felt different and felt quicker. So speed of play, I would say, is probably the biggest.
It's interesting you say that because I've chatted with, do you know Max Christensen? He went to Utah Tech.
Yes, I actually watched your guys' video and I loved it.
Yeah. Good. It was super long. He's freaking the best. But it's funny. He talks about the pace of play going from Snow College to Utah Tech, and the difference was actually very minute. It was really, really small because of how high level Snow College was football program.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's interesting that depending on your sport, you can see a different change of pace going from a junior college to a D1, which I think is important for kids to understand, because there's a lot of kids that really shy away from junior colleges.
Oh, 1,000%.
But I think, maybe depending on your sport, maybe just depending on the school itself, you can actually have a really high level junior college and then go walk on it at a D1 level. How was that recruiting process? Was that tough to go from Snow over to Utah Tech?
Yes and no. I would say, like, anywhere during the recruiting process, and you probably know this, like, is tough. Like, whether that's before you actually get to college or like when you transfer in. Mine was pretty late, I think both times. Like, before I even got into snow, I got recruited like a month, 2 months before my college season like even started. So like I wasn't even planning on playing. And then as far as the transferring from snow to Utah Tech, it was that fall. And it was like right before Christmas break. Again, was super late. Like, went to a transfer camp, and then it was like within a week I was like, okay, well, I'm going. Like, I decided to go, and so yeah, it was very quick, but kind of spur of the moment decision. But I'm super grateful for both of those decisions. But
Yeah.
and I know like some other people kind of are more like in talks with other coaches for like a little bit longer time period. But like I saw the opportunity and I took it, so I'm super grateful I did.
Was that a tough decision to make?
Actually, yes and no. I mean, where I was, like, 2 years ago or 3 now, maybe, I was in just a different place. I almost wanted to go on a mission instead. It was mission or play D1. And I kind of just went with, let's just go play D1. Like, I can't really go on a mission right now. I don't, like, not that I didn't want to, like, I wanted to, but I just saw myself really wanting to play D1 soccer. So I went that path and kind of stuck with it. But yeah, so it was hard, but also in the back of my mind, it was like, this is what I've always wanted to do, so might as well just go do it.
That's what I was going to ask. Have you always wanted to go play D1 soccer since the high school, since Little League, or has it always been a goal?
I would say yeah. There was definitely like times where I just like played soccer, like just kind of going through the motion, like it's what my friends did. That's like who my friends were, like were my teammates, so I just kind of did what they did. But especially getting into high school, that's when I focused on it more, or like 9th grade, even 8th grade. And I was like, I really want to go. Like, I think I can. I was like, I can. Like, I want to do it. So, it was definitely a dream of mine to go play on.
Were you recruited right out of high school?
Not like right out of high school, because like I said, I had that injury. So, I actually ended up tearing my ACLs. Well, I've torn both my ACLs, and this is like, my recruiting process is a little bit different, I would say, or obviously other people have had injuries. Sure. I'm the only one, but like, different than I would say like other teammates or other people that I've heard. So my sophomore year, I tore my ACL. So then my junior year of high school, didn't really get like looked at a ton, wasn't really talking to a ton of schools. And then beginning of my, like right before senior year, end of junior year, I was kind of talking to actually Utah Tech, but when they were Dixie, to one of their other coaches. And that was probably the most serious recruitment I've had. And like talking to like a couple like D2 schools, kind of talked to Snow a little bit, but nothing like too serious. And then I tore my ACL right before my senior year, and then I just kind of lost contact with all the schools. And then once I was kind of getting back, COVID hit. So spring of my senior year, like my team kind of fell apart, and so I didn't have a spring season. And so I was like, I have no clue how I'm going to get recruited. And then my coach just kind of called the Snow coach, and they were going through a coach change, and the coach was just like, yeah, like I'll take a ton of players. So I joined the team very last minute, and it just like worked out perfectly for me and my path. But yeah, definitely not like getting recruited a ton by ton of schools, I would say.
I think it's kind of how a lot of Utah kids get. Like, it's just how it is a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because, which is actually why I wanted to start helping kids try and get recruited. I didn't have a whole lot of help getting recruited out of high school. I went on a mission. I went to a slick baseball clinic my senior year, but I had a torn rotator cuff in my arm, and they were clocking me from shortstop across the diamond. Like, a baseline, if you're not throwing 92 across the diamond, like, you're not really, you don't have the arm strength to go play. So that was tough. I went to a clinic and then served a mission, and then both my high school coaches went to go coach college. So both of them reached out at like maybe 3 months left of my mission.
Wow.
And they were like, hey, like, if you want to walk on, you should totally come. And I was like, okay, cool. So I had to pick between baseball and football, and I chose baseball because I thought it would be less injury. And then I walk in, and Yeah, I just couldn't really throw. I was on a rehab program. They were on physical therapy. Didn't perform my best. Obviously, coming off a mission, you see 92 over the plate. Like it's pretty hard to hit.
Tough.
Yeah. So it didn't make the spring team, and then reached back out to Coach Erickson out snow, and I had another buddy that came off his mission, and he wanted to go walk on, so we walked on together. But I think that especially for Utah, there are a lot of kids that kind of write college sports out of their dreams. Whether that's because of a mission, whether that's because of the recruitment process. I think there's a couple different factors. But it's important to know that there's actually ways to get recruited out of high school, and also at a year or two after high school. Like, there are coaches that are still looking for players that want to come either walk on or a PWO, or even for scholarships. I know Ben Bywater, I grew up playing with him. He went to Olympus. Yeah, I think somebody got a hold of his rugby footage while he was on his mission, and they reached out to him, and he was like, "Sure, I guess I'll come play." Defense.
Like, why not? Why not?
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't this big recruitment process out of high school, and I could be wrong on the specifics, but yeah, I think there's always an opportunity for kids to go play if they actually want to go play. Not everybody has the resources to like make it happen, which is why I kind of want to help, especially in Utah. A lot of kids get recruited, but yeah, that's cool that we kind of share similar stories, that randomly a coach calls and you're like, sure, I guess, and then it leads to you playing Division-I soccer. It's big time.
No, yeah, like huge. Like, I just remember getting like the call from my coach, and I'm like, I'm running around like my high school track, just running, doing workout, because I was like, we're just gonna still work out just in case, like, I don't know. And he's like, hey, so I talked to the snow coach, like, you have spa. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, just like a random day. I said, great, sounds good. And even like talking about like kind of writing it off, I remember like Kylie Howell, you know, like she also got recruited like late too, and she ended up coming down too, and was like, hey, like, I heard you're going to snow, like, I'm looking into it. And I said, do it. And we ended up being roommates, and so kind of familiar faces with that. But I, again, like, last minute, and it was both just like such a great experience for us.
Oh, absolutely. When it comes, so you're a captain now at Utah Tech, and you were two-time captain at Snow, so you've obviously dealt with a lot of high-level soccer, but also a lot of newcomers, walk-ons, freshmen especially. What do you think separates, for people who are just getting into college, what separates an incoming freshman by other people? What puts them apart and actually gets them noticed by coaches? Because I think it's a big hesitation that a lot of kids have, is if I do go walk on, or if I still am a freshman, I'm just going to ride the bench for 2 years and then potentially get in junior, senior year. What have you seen as a leader of a team that's been like, oh my gosh, like, this freshman actually does stand out and makes a difference on the team?
For sure. I think there are like a couple of things that can contribute to that. One especially that comes to mind is kind of just having a presence, or trying to have that presence, whether that's like, well, both on and off the field. First, like on the field, like with soccer, if you're talking a lot, if you're organizing, it's like, if you're confident is like one of the biggest things. Like, you're confident that you can do it and you can perform, because confidence goes a long way. Like, it rubs off on your other peers, like, that are actually playing, but also kind of rubs off to the coaches as well. Like, you can see confidence, and so like coaches will put their trust into confident people. You know, if you can do it, and then if you're confident in yourself, like, you'll perform better. Like, I'm such a big believer in confidence. So that's like one thing. And then also just not being afraid to make mistakes. Like, I remember there's a time like when I would there's a specific time like at Snow, I was so afraid for like, I think it was like a month, like when I first got there, like, to just do the right thing. And like, I ended up playing worse because I like wasn't playing who I was as an athlete.
Just so stressed out and
play.
so,
It sucks. But so just like not being afraid to make those mistakes, and then, because if you make a mistake, like, you can learn from it and then you get better from it, but just not playing scared. So yeah, those are probably the main two, I would say. But
I know there's a quote that I don't remember who said it, but he talks about what the definition of confidence is. He says confidence is the perceived likelihood of achievement. Basically, how likely do you see yourself achieving something? And if you think it's really likely, chances are you'll be pretty confident. Like, that's kind of the definition. And then he breaks into, okay, well, how do we increase our perceived likelihood of achievement? How do we increase our confidence? And he goes through, there are controlled variables and uncontrollable variables. And if we can take everything that we can control and guarantee that a certain outcome will happen, then chances are we have much higher confidence or a chance of those things actually coming to fruition, simply because of we've controlled what we've been able to control. And then you go play a game and there will be tons. I mean, soccer's a much faster, some people would say slow paced game, but I think it's a much faster paced game.
Yeah.
Like football, football, there's 25 seconds, 40 seconds between plays. Baseball, there's like maybe 3 minutes. Not actually, but like, basically 3 minutes. And soccer, you have so many split decisions, especially, midfield where you're going back and forth. Like, you have to make so many different decisions based off of so many different things, all at a second's notice. So if you can control what you can control, and you can be confident that you'll get an outcome simply because of what you've been able to put in, then when something does come that you didn't plan for, you're way more confident that you're going to be able to get an outcome that other people can't. So I think it makes sense.
Oh yeah, and 100%. Like, and it's definitely something I've had to like work on for like a long time. Like, especially getting into college, I wasn't the most confident player. Like, especially as a freshman, there's like people who are so confident, but for me, it was something I had to like learn and tell myself like a lot, and be like, yeah, like I am good enough to do this. Like, I can do this. And so then like each game, each practice, I would have to be like, you can do it. Like you did it yesterday, you can do it, and you can be even better. Yeah, definitely something I had to learn, but it's tough.
What are your controllables?
Yes. Wait, what?
What are your controllables?
Oh, like what I control?
Yeah. What do you work on?
What do I work on? Like mentally or physically?
Both.
Both? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess like physically is I can be confident if I know that I've done it so many times. So like I've put in the work, especially like individual work. Like if I've taken the time outside of team practice to go work on certain skills, like heading the ball, defensive headers, like clearing, or like, I don't know, little niche things that are specific to my position and just like my foot skills. And if I can be confident that I know I put in the work, it helps me be confident on the field. So that's a controllable. And then mentally, like something I do for confidence, I'll just tell you my little niches that I do is like I write confidence, right here every game. Gets me kind of locked in. Or I do like these team mantras. I watch film and I'm able to like see some things I work on, and kind of helps like my mindset focus on like good things as well. Because when you focus
you write confidence on your wrist?
Yeah, I do. Every game.
Where did you get that from?
I started when I was actually at Utah Tech. It was my first year there, because at Snow I never did. But I remember meeting with our like psychologist, and he was like, "If you have like a team mantra thing you want to do, or actually no, I take this back. Hold on, I did at Snow with Abby Transtrom and Mallory Uringer. I remember they would write something, and I was like, yeah, I want to start doing that. And me and Abby were talking, and I figured out confidence was what I wanted to write, because they had their own things, and so I just stuck with it. But it actually helps. It's like one of the last things I do before stepping on the field, and it helps. So that's a controllable thing. Like, just get my mindset like right in game mode right before I step on. So.
Good. Yeah, I freaking love.
Did that answer your question? I was like,
absolutely.
Okay, good.
Okay, this is kind of a tough question. We're gonna go back to.
We're good.
Yeah, we'll bring it back a little bit. What do you think when it comes to skill wise? Like probably more physical than mental, but it could also be mental. What do you think that has been the most beneficial thing that you've worked on? Basically, your key components when it comes to training that has gotten you to where you needed to be. I'll give you an example. For football, I drastically regret not working on speed enough, because as a running back, I didn't value speed, and now I'm like, it doesn't actually matter how big I am. It, like, my vision will come naturally, my speed doesn't, and that is something that, like, if any running back going to go play college, the speed, you have to run a sub 4.5, like 4.5, 4.4. Anything you can do to be that fast will put you above every single person in the film group. So for you, what is that?
Well, first, to back on that, I will say this past, going to D1, so the transition from snow to D1, speed was a big thing. Not just speed of play, but like players were physically stronger and faster. So, and that was one of my regrets too, is not working on my speed. And like we did as a team, and like it's definitely helped. But one thing, I will say, work on your speed. Like, there are some great athletes at the D1 level and like JUCO level and like D2, like great athletes. But that was one thing that was like collectively everyone was faster. But something I did work on is kind of just working on the basics. I would go specifically to soccer, go find a wall, or like a tennis court where they have like that backboard wall, and I would just go by myself, spend an hour each day by myself or more, and then a couple days a week, and just hit against the wall. Just focus on like my weak foot specifically, and just like little like things here and there, like just to get the basics. Like for me, being a center back, a lot of it is like you switch the point of like attack, or going in. It's kind of hard to get those like big tackles 1v1 defending when you're by yourself. So my individual time was, how can I get the best touch possible where I can just take a touch and play it? And so just getting the basics of that helped a ton, and just getting good at the basics. I don't know, kind of repetitive, but yeah. So I would say
yes. I think a lot of kids, I get asked a lot of times, what do I need to work on? Actively as a coach, every single kid who isn't playing after practice, the coach, what do I need to work on? Right? But in reality, there are a lot of things. Yes. There are a lot of things the kids could be working on. And it's always different based on position. It's always different based on the sport, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, anything like that. Strength will never be negative. I really don't think being stronger while playing a sport will never be a negative. You should always get stronger.
Yeah.
You should always get faster. I don't think that there's a sport that being slow helps you by any means. You should always get faster. You should always get stronger. And which means that not only should your nutrition be based off of building muscle, it should be your workouts should be focused on building strength and explosiveness as well as speed. Like, you need to be sprinting significantly more than you are. And if you're not sprinting at least every other day as a young athlete, you're doing your body a disservice by not training the fast twitch muscles and putting it through intense game-like situations. Because there's a study that says like less than 1% of people over the age of 30 will ever sprint again in their life. And I'm like, maybe not 1%, but literally. But yeah, there are different components to your body that requires intense short bursts of of exercise and endurance. And it can actually, I think that's really one thing that I wish I would have done, is sprint every day or every other day, like full speed sprints, and just get my body used to it, because that's the pace that you play at too. Yeah.
And this is like also one thing that like I love, like what you're doing is like educating athletes. And because if you were to ask me like 2 years ago, like pretty much anything the stuff that you said, I would have been like, what? Like, or just like, well, I just show up and I just play. Like, I show up and that's all I do. And especially like these past like 2 years, I have learned so much more, meeting with our nutritionist, our sports psychologist, like even just like our coaches, like even social media. Like, I have learned so much more about just like little things I could have been doing, or like in the weight room, or like lifting more less like a bodybuilder and more like an athlete, like more like a soccer player, and little things like that could actually help like my game and like how I played. And so I wish I was almost more just educated on things I could have done, because like sometimes I just didn't know, so it was like hard.
I think that also comes down to the recruiting process.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that grown adults who have monetary or financial benefit to gain talk to 16 and 17, 18-year-old kids in high school.
Oh, yeah.
And they promise so many things. Oh, we totally have a spot on the team.
We got it.
Like, we totally can fit you in. Yeah, let me just, like, try and find, we don't have money yet for you, but, like, walk on. We'll earn a spot, bro. It'll be really easy. And
yeah.
It's just open promises. And I actually want to start interviewing coaches and be like, hey, like, walk us through the recruitment process. What is needed? Because, to be honest, these kids don't understand that if a coach says, hey, we have a spot for you, we don't have money, but we have a spot for you, it doesn't mean that you're going to play. By no means.
No.
It means that they aren't committed to you. If there was somebody that they wouldn't want to lose, they would find money for. It's just how it is. Yeah. And if they're not willing to find money for you, they're not willing to actually dive into you and invest in you. They want you to prove it, which sometimes that's your only option. But I think a lot of kids also get manipulated pretty fast by coaches promising that they have a spot and, oh yeah, we totally want you, dude. Like, we totally need you on our team. We have a spot for you. And then you show up and there's 20 of you that are competing for one singular spot that he promised. And you're like, this isn't true.
Oh yeah. And sometimes like you just don't know it. Like, cause some coaches are just really good at it. And like, given it's their job, it's, how they do it. It's how they build up a school. And so, but it's like, you don't understand. Like I didn't understand it when I was that age. Like I didn't know what I was doing. Like I just would ask my parents, and like they knew to the best of their ability, but I also was like the first soccer player. Yeah. Like my parents didn't know how soccer players got recruited really. Like, like they knew like from my siblings who played college, but other than that, it's just each sport is so different in itself. It's hard to know like all the other sports and all like how the recruitment process is. It's crazy how it is, and it's changed so much, I feel like, too.
It wasn't until I got to Snow College that they were like, yeah, you need a Twitter.
You're like, oh.
Hey, a Twitter? Like
why?
Why do I need a Twitter? They're like, that's the only way you'll get out of Snow. And
that's crazy.
I was so confused. Yeah, like, you get a Twitter, you have your bio, you have all of your information, a link to your highlights, and then you go follow all the coaches, the position coaches and head coaches of the schools you want to go play at, and then you DM them. Like, sending an email, at least for college football, doesn't do anything. Yeah. Sending an email doesn't mean anything. Getting a response by a coach on Twitter actually means something, and they want to set up a phone call, they want to set up an interview, they want to set up a visit. Yeah, the Twitter's the way to go, at least for college football. What about for soccer? Do you guys use Twitter a whole lot, or is it email?
No. I mean, at least I didn't. Like, I didn't use Twitter. For me, it was like email, and it was like repetitive, like send them film, get your film, which I would say is super important now. But that was, I know it's probably changed a little bit. Like, I haven't been in like the portal or like in like a long time. So it definitely was get your film, get your email, and send emails a lot. Send them your games, send them like when we go to tournaments as a club, like send them your schedule, this, like, just basically annoy them. And even then, like, if you got a response, sometimes it was, I think some coaches even have like the automated responses.
For sure.
So sometimes you're like, I don't even know if it's them like responding or like what.
An assistant, whatever.
Yeah. So, but as far as like transferring, or well, I guess this goes before transferring and before, is college camps. Like, go to their ID camps, get seen. That way, like, coaches can actually talk to you and communicate with you. I know the rules are a little bit different now. I know I can't remember what age you have to be for them to like actually talk to you about stuff. But and then for me, when I like transferred, like I said, I went to a camp, and it was like all graduates, like high school graduates and like transfers. So it was a small camp, but like it still was a camp where I was able to talk to the coaches and like talk about like, hey, like what money do you have? Like, and all this stuff, or like, what does it even look like? Like, even besides money, like, what's like the plans, you know? So stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get to as many camps as you can. Get in front of as many coaches as you can. I think.
Yeah, get seen.
Yeah, get on rosters, get on pages. Anybody that can see your name multiple times. Yeah, it's gonna help. Also, coaches know coaches.
Yes.
And this is funny. We actually played in the national championship in Arkansas my first year down at Snow, and we played Hutchinson, which, let's see, Tyreek Hill played at Garden City. There's a couple dudes in the NFL that played at Hutch, a team that we played in the national championship. And Hutch's coach actually came up to me after the game and said, "Hey, man, we really like what you see. We basically game planned to stop you. Like, that was our entire defensive game plan, was to stop you. If you ever think about, like, if you ever think about transferring, it wasn't necessarily a recruit. It was like, if you ever need anything, like let me know." Yeah. And I never took him up on it. But after the fact, I realized he knows, like, Coach Erickson and then Hutchison's coach. It does nothing but double, if not triple, my resources, because I'm now getting preferred, or what was that word? Yeah, like given out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. By multiple coaches. Yeah, referred by multiple coaches. That's the word. Thank you. Yeah, and I never took him up on it, but I wish I had, because coaches know coaches. And even if I don't know a coach, like Canyon School District, Corner Canyon is in Hillcrest School District, their coaches know plenty of people. Like Tim View and Corner Canyon are some of the top recruited schools in Utah. And I guarantee high school coaches aren't necessarily against helping you get recruited if they like, know people. If you were to reach out, say, "Hey, I really love what you guys do at your program. Obviously, I'm not at your school, but I would love some help getting recruited. If you guys have an email list of people that I can start sending out, or if you have camp schedules that I might be able to jump onto." Yeah, I think that there's other resources that kids forget about, for sure.
Oh, no, and for sure. And, like, I love how you mentioned that, because before I transferred, like, my snow coach helped a ton, but also the slit coach, I think, helped solidify, like, to my other coach, which is kind of interesting. Like, after talking to my then coach, Molly Rouse, she was like, "Oh, yeah, like, I talked to the slit coach," and, like, so it just is like, yeah, like, coaches know people, and they keep note of all these other players, like, because coaches are smart. Like, obviously they're coaches for a reason, and they pay attention to the game. They keep notes on, like, other players, like when they do scouting reports, like, they keep notes of these players, and it can really help. Like, really good resources aren't just, like, within, like, your own team. Like, there's a lot of resources. So
yeah, 100%.
On that.
Okay, last one.
Okay.
If you could go back and retrain for college soccer in high school, Little League high school, if you could go back and retrain, what would you do differently?
Ooh, this is a tough one.
If you were to guarantee that you were going to be playing D1 soccer, 4 years after you graduate, what would you do differently?
I think a recruitment process would be a little bit different. And, like, okay, this will be a mental side of things. I think if I could believe, as cheesy as it is, I think if I could believe in myself more, because I, like, kind of settled just being like, yeah, like, I'm not going to play. And, like, I didn't reach out or, like, try to go to these other, like, camps or, like, other things, because I just was like, they don't want me. Like, like, I didn't really, like, want to shoot my shot. Like, I didn't, like, go to big name camps or really put myself out there as much, just because, like, I didn't believe. But as far as, like, a more physical side of things, I would say, again, speed. I wish I was a little bit quicker. That's something that I've had to, like, work on more. Or like you said, fast twitch muscles, like, little, like, niche things like that. And then the other side of thing is nutrition. I actually did not really pay mind to my nutrition when I was in high school. but it has something that has changed my game for the better, especially this past year and a half, I would even say.
What's your diet? What do you stick to?
Definitely an increase in protein.
Okay.
And like focusing on like getting a good balance of like protein and carbs and like fruits and vegetables, like and it changes. It changes like if it's a game day, if it's just like practice, if it's a lighter practice. But one of my biggest things was focusing on getting a good protein source like at each meal. That can like help fuel and like recover, because I didn't really pay mind to recovery. It was like, yeah, go sleep, go stretch. That's it. But instead I'm like, drink a good amount of water, drink electrolytes. And then like, what am I actually eating besides, I don't know, pasta for lunch, pasta for dinner, a sandwich, like, and like that, those are great, you know, but like at certain times. And so like learning more about nutrition was huge, I'd say.
Is it harder when you guys travel?
Yes and no. Like they definitely go to like good spots, and like I mean I love all the food we eat. And
That's good. That's lucky.
yeah, I'm like it's nice. We get fed well.
Our 24-hour awesome. Bus ride to Iowa, we stopped at McDonald's twice.
Oh no.
Like I'm like, we can't even use the bathroom on the bus. This is terrible.
No, okay, yeah, true. There are some times where it's like when you're traveling, it's like sometimes the only option is like a Subway, you know? But
yeah.
Thankfully, I'm not too picky, so it's like I'll eat whatever. So there are some like downsides when you're traveling, but our coaches do a really good job to get us like fed well and like at good times, especially, and like just kind of what I don't know. Something I've learned about is, or have had to learn, was what my body needs and like certain times I need to eat. And it was something that I had to learn over the course of a while. It wasn't just something I figured out in like a year. It like took a couple years to be like, now I've got this down. Like I feel good, and like certain times, what can I feel the best, play at my best. So yeah.
Yeah. Everybody is different. Everybody's body reacts differently. I react way worse to a high carb diet than I do a high protein diet. If I could, I mean, I did carnivore for a little bit, but yeah, my body just loves protein way more than it does carbs. And I eat any breads or pastas or even, rice or a starchy potato, anything like that. My body just has a harder time getting back to full speed. And that is really crucial. I really wish I would have understood that better, especially playing football at Snow, because everybody just wanted me to gain weight. I showed up to Snow at 185 pounds and left at 210.
Holy cow.
And I lost probably I think I lost 25 pounds in the 3 months after I graduated. I just lost it immediately.
Holy cow.
But I didn't lose any strength, and I actually got faster. And I don't think that 25 pounds really did me any benefit, other than it like really made me slow. And obviously I was coming off of an injury. I had knee surgery in between seasons. But yeah, I really quickly, my body just decided that it didn't like carbohydrates and it really likes protein. Now I obviously still eat carbs.
Yeah.
But especially fruits. I love fruits, but in different times, as you know, I play intramurals. And it's not like I have to carb load for intramurals, but it is different.
It can be intense. It can be intense.
Sometimes it can be really intense. Some ward basketball, But yeah, exactly. But even just waking up and going to the gym, if my body will react differently at the gym the next day based off what I ate the day before, and that's actually how our bodies work. And depending on what time I go to bed is depending on how good I feel in the morning and the type of routine that I'm on. And although when you're playing college sports, it is a job, you still need to have fun and get outside and be active. A routine creates such a difference in the way that you can perform, the way that your body feels, and your ability to then go play at the next level. Because my body didn't like JUCO ball, and it probably wouldn't have lasted for Division-I football the way that I was treating it. The way that you've been able to then transition from junior college to Division-I it just tells me that you actually have learned significantly things to then put your body through a higher performance level of sport.
Yeah.
And you're crushing it. You're doing amazing. I love
I
it.
appreciate that.
Of course.
Oh, thanks. But yeah, no, it has definitely been a learning process. Like, I have learned so much over these, especially 4 years of just playing college. Like, looking back at high school me, well, I guess 5 years now, crazy.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
looking at like high school Gracie, just wanting to play, and that was it. It just was, yeah, like I just want to play, and like not knowing much. But then like there are just so many little things that you can do to improve your game, and it's like I've applied some things and like obviously like trial and error with like other stuff, but I've like seen differences like in diet and like focusing on my sleep, like um mental side of things, like working on little like skills. Like there's so many things that you can do that actually like benefit. And because before I just like, oh yeah, like I hear it, like you need to train, you know, you do this, get sleep, and I just like would kind of go over my head. But once I started actually seeing results, I was like, okay, like these things work, I need to stick to them. So
Yeah.
I've learned a lot.
Good. Good. Um, well, Gracie, I appreciate it. You're the freaking best. I'm excited.
You're the
It
best.
looks looking at your guys' record 3-0-2. You guys start actual conference play September 28th. And you guys
Mhm.
go till at least October, and then you have the WAC tournament.
Yes.
You guys go pretty late. The Women's College Cup is in December. It can go all the way to the end
Yeah,
of the year. That's
it
intense.
takes a minute. Yeah. I think
That's good.
our conference tournament is the end of October, November-ish.
Mhm.
So yeah. I mean, it's not guaranteed to make it, but like we'll make it, I hope.
Yeah, of course.
We should.
Confidence
We're
is
working
key.
hard.
Confidence.
Yeah, I know, confidence. I'm planning on being there. So
Exactly.
yeah, so we'll go do that, and then just depending on how we do, like it's our first year. I think we are able to, like, as a D1 program, to actually compete in that tournament. So that's
Oh, sweet.
our goal. So we're
Well, good.
hoping for that.
Hopefully after, at least after the football season, end of October, we'll be able to come down and watch some of the tournaments. I'd love to
Oh,
come
I
see.
hope so.
That'd be fun.
So fun.
Okay, Gracie, you're the freaking best.
Oh, you are too. Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
hopping
much
on.
for having
Of
me.
course.
Like,
Of course.
genuinely, I'm stoked. What you're doing is awesome and amazing. So
Yeah, we'll have you on again. It'll be easy.
oh,
You're the
good.
best.
Anytime.
All right, thanks.
Okay, great.